This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Thousands of Yemenis and other nationals from countries covered by Trump's travel ban are currently stranded in different parts of the world as the State Department refuses to honor the fact that they won a U.S. government immigration lottery. Many of the thousands who won the right to apply for a green card through the U.S. Diversity Visa Program lottery have already sold their homes and cars, left their jobs, even relocated to places like Djibouti, Malaysia, and other countries in anticipation of their move to the United States. Their eligibility to receive green cards under the program will end only 3 days after the travel ban is slated to expire on September 27th, meaning their applications will likely not be processed in time. Former State Department official Stephen Pattison, who'll join us in a moment, said, quote, "Taking this away from people who've won it is the cruelest possible thing this administration could do. It makes us look petty and cruel as a society," he said. Earlier this week, the International Red Cross issued a rare statement saying it's extremely alarmed by the recent wave of airstrikes in Yemen, which have killed dozens of civilians and hit homes and public spaces such as markets. The airstrikes are being carried out by the U.S.-backed Saudi-led coalition. The humanitarian crisis in Yemen is deepening, with more than 400,000 people reportedly suffering from cholera. Looming famine, with the United Nations warning 19 million of Yemen's 28 million people are in need of some form of aid. Well, for more right now, we're joined by several guests. In Chennai, India, we are joined on Democracy Now! Video stream by Hamid Sufyan Amagram, a 29-year-old Yemeni PhD student in applied linguistics who's at university in Tamil Nadu, India. He was awarded a diversity visa in 2016, but due to Trump's travel ban, is now stranded in India. And in Washington, D.C., we're joined by his attorney, Yolanda Rondon, of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, or ADC, her group suing the State Department over the diversity visa winner denials and delays. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Hamid, let's begin with you in India. Tell us your story. How did you apply to be in this lottery? And tell us your reaction when you won, and then what you did about it.
Well, as anybody in the world dreams of United States of America, dreams to enter the land of freedom, the land of dignity, I was one of them, and I applied through this program at October 2015. On May 2016, I have been notified that I have been selected for a diversity visa. So at that time, I was here in India doing the first year of my PhD degree in linguistics. So I had to go back to my Yemen, to my country, Yemen, in order to get some documentation which I'm short of. So at that time, you know, the situation which Yemen is, it's passing through. So all airports were blocked. So it was very difficult for me to move to Yemen. But, due to this less flight to Yemen, the price of tickets were doubled. So I got a ticket, I borrowed such an amount of money from friends, then I left to Yemen. I was thinking that I will spend only 1 month there in Yemen, but the situation gets worse. And I tried to get all this, my documentation, date of birth certificate, police clearance certificate. Then I was trying to get out from Yemen to India, but the situation gets worse. All the airports now are closed. So if I want to go back to India, I have to move to another part of Yemen, which is the south of Yemen. And there is a problem between south and north of Yemen. I had to go through a very difficult route where conflict is at highest level. So I adventured my life. I put my life at risk in order to get out from Yemen to India, then to Malaysia for my interview. I left Yemen on December 2016 to India. Then I have wasted there 7 months out of my university, out of my classes, Then I came here in India. Also, I have to get police clearance certificate from India. So 1 more month added to my absence. Now they are 8 months. I got these police clearance certificates from different places here because my master degree was in Hyderabad city. And they have to get one from Hyderabad and one from Tamil Nadu. So then I got my interview appointment, which was on 25th of May. So in order to be able to move to Malaysia, I have to get such a massive amount of money. My father is a professor in Yemen, and he's a public servant. So his salary is unpaid for more than, 9 months, almost 1 year until this moment. So I moved, I tried to call my friends and my uncle who is working in Saudi Arabia to send me such money support in order to be able to move. And one of the conditions which was for entering the Kuala Lumpur was to get $2,000 in cash. Otherwise, you will send back to your country. You will not be allowed to enter Malaysia. I entered Malaysia at 9th of May. I was so happy. I was thinking that my suffering is finished and I'm about to get my visa. I did my medical examination there as well as other things, preparing for my interview. At the time of my interview, I was so happy. My file was complete. I have collected all my documentations from the early stage of my life until this time. They were all complete, and I entered my interview. It was very nice interview, and the consul was very kind with me. She told me, just you have to answer these 5 questions regarding my experience, my traveling for the previous 15 years and work. So I answered this question and sent them back to the email of the embassy the next day exactly. But I've been waiting there for 4 weeks. I didn't get any email to drop off my passport for getting the visa. Then I got a call from India here that I have to come back because I have a course examination. So at that time, I came back here in India and I entered my exam I was not prepared enough for my exam. So likely I will not pass this exam. Then 2 days later, on 12th of July, I got an email from American embassy in Kuala Lumpur that if you don't have a close family relation or a credible bona fide with an American entity relation, you are ineligible to get the diversity visa. Had I known that such condition will be applied, I wouldn't have applied from the beginning. So it's a very difficult situation. We have already sacrificed our life. We have already sacrificed our studies, our time, our effort. We are in a very miserable situation. We cannot be here for more than, for more time. We are stranded here. We are not permitted to work, nor to go back our country. It's very difficult. Also, my friends there in Malaysia are stranded and suffering a lot there in Malaysia.
Hamid Al-Magrami,
Yeah.
I want to bring in your attorney, Yolanda Rondon, who is in Washington, D.C., a staff attorney for ADC. That's the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. Hamid is telling a very painful story. He risked his life to be able to get this visa. And he's not saying he should have gotten it. He actually won. But now, because of the ban, explain how prevalent this is, how many people are affected, and just what this visa lottery is.
Yes, it's a painful story, and unfortunately, Hamid is not unique. This has occurred we have over 90 clients of Yemeni origin and descent. There are also dozens of Iranians who are also part of our lawsuit and membership of our class who've also suffered this. And so it's very widespread. And what we have determined and seen that there is a discriminatory policy being applied to these nationals, essentially stating that because of your identity, you're banned, right? And in our eyes, this violates the Immigration Nationality Act because it is arbitrary and capricious to add terms and conditions that are not provided under the law. The only three requirements is one, you're a national of one of the beneficiary countries, which includes Yemen, and that you have the requisite education attainment level or the qualifying work experience. So they're not allowed to add qualifications that Congress did not authorize. Frankly, as well, what we're seeing is that it is a policy being used to essentially run out the time. They know these individuals have to complete their visa process by September 30th or they lose it. So as such, they're enforcing the Muslim ban, even though the executive order should not apply to them, and the Supreme Court has ruled that it should not apply in these cases. But also look at the fact that this is the purpose of the diversity visa program. When it was enacted into law, the purpose was to diversify our immigration base, right? And so to enforce this Muslim ban is to bring us back into the isolation time of where we only allowed in the European Anglo-Saxon immigrant. So it's very, very, very disturbing about what is happening. Not only does it violate the INA because of the arbitrary and capricious, but also there's a clause in the INA against discrimination, prohibiting discrimination based upon nationality. And that is what is occurring here.
So what kind of recourse do you have? And explain the lawsuit that you've brought, Yolanda Rondon.
Yeah, so the recourse that we're seeking is through a mandamus suit. And essentially a mandamus suit asks the court to order the consulates to process their applications, right? So the class of persons, which represent even beyond Yemeni Iranians, but all nationals of the 6 countries, is essentially any person who won the physical 2017 lottery and has not received a visa and has been told that they have to have a bona fide relationship, right? And so this lawsuit seeks for the court to say, you must do your job, consulate, right? You must process these applications before September 30th. Don't allow them to wait out the system to, de facto or pretext discriminate against these nationals who are otherwise eligible for a visa.
We're talking to Yolanda Rondon, a staff attorney for the ADC. Overall, how many people, is it something like 50,000 people have come in on this visa, the diversity lottery?
Yeah, so the way the diversity visa lottery works is that there are certain countries that are selected and eligible based upon the low immigrant visa entrance level. And these generally include countries from Africa, the Middle East, and South America. And largely these nationals don't have any other way to enter the country due to economic means, but also because they don't have the family ties, right? So otherwise they will use family immigration system. And so millions of people apply each year. Last year alone, there was roughly about 150 million people who applied. Out of that, the State Department selects roughly about 125,000, 150,000, and this is through a random selection process. From there, there are only 50,000 slots that are allowed to be filled. So thousands and thousands and thousands of people hope that they're selected, and they go through all this to get their documents verified and come with the requisite medical examination. But at the end of the day, only 50,000 are allowed under the law each year.
And Hamid al-Magrami is one of those who was approved. We're going to go to break, then bring in Stephen Pattison, spent 3 decades in the State Department. Stay with us. Here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. We're talking about the diversity lottery for visas, people to come into this country. When they win, what happens when the Trump travel ban stands in the way. We're also joined by Stephen Pattison, U.S. immigration attorney who spent nearly 3 decades with the State Department, serving as a consular officer and manager in postings in Asia, the Middle East, Europe, and Washington, D.C. Stephen Pattison, we've just heard the heart-rending story of Hamid al-Magradi. I mean, he is dealing in Yemen with obviously a catastrophe, the U.S.-backed Saudi bombing of Yemen, where the airport hasn't worked and how long. His father stopped being paid, 9 months ago. He risked his life to get out of Yemen, ultimately won this lottery. but now waits in India and cannot come into this country. Explain the significance of this and why you've called this one of the cruelest acts the administration, a U.S. government, could engage in.
Sure. What's happening here is you have someone who is qualified to receive a visa under the visa lottery, which, as your previous commentator noted, is an annual process that allows up to 50,000 people who don't otherwise have a family or an employment-based tie to qualify to immigrate to the United States. The visa numbers that are available in this category expire at the end of every fiscal year. So if someone wins the lottery and is unable to receive a visa before September 30th of that year, that opportunity expires and they are back where they started. The cruel thing about the travel ban, as far as it affects people who won the diversity visa lottery this year, is that right now the Supreme Court is telling us that they're going to determine whether the ban, as promulgated by the administration, is constitutional, but they're not going to reach this issue until after September 30th. So even if they decide at that point that the travel ban should not be applied to the diversity visa lottery winners, the people who won it and who are impacted by it right now will lose that opportunity because they won't be able to get that visa before the end of the fiscal year because they will be stopped until the Supreme Court rules. This is cruel because people who win the lottery don't get that chance each year thereafter. The odds are really, really small that someone who's won one year, who isn't able to use the number, will be able to use it the next year. So effectively, that's their chance. And it's been taken away from them by a process that may well be overturned by the courts. I find that to be rather cruel.
And what recourse do you think someone like Hamed has, who's risked everything, actually won the lottery but cannot come in?
Under our current laws, he has no recourse. If someone wins the lottery and is unable to get a visa by the end of the year, that's it. The only thing he can do is apply again in the next year and see what happens.
Finally, under President Trump's proposed RAISE Act that would have legal migration, would this lottery be done away with entirely?
The lottery was set up by Congress. Congress can decide to take it away. I understand that one of the aspects of the RAISE proposal from the administration is to halve the amount of legal immigration that can come in each year across the board in all the various categories. The diversity visa has always been controversial right from the beginning. In its early days, it was reestablished each year. And there were some years when it looked like it might not be reestablished until the very end of that fiscal year. So there have always been people who felt that the lottery as operated was not the best way to bring people into the United States. So
we have 5 seconds. Stephen Pattison, 5 seconds to wrap up.
Okay, so it could well be that the DV lottery will be removed as part of the RAISE program as well.
Stephen Pattison, we want to thank you for being with us with the State Department for 3 decades. We also want to thank Yolanda Rondon and Hamed Sufyan Al-Magrami. I'm Amy Goodman, headed to Belfast, Northern Ireland on Saturdays. Stay